Hey there, Derek Rydall here, and I'm really excited to talk to you today about what I think is a topic that's not really talked about enough, actually, and one that we need now more than ever, and that is courage. And that it takes courage to answer the call, courage to answer our call. And courage is not, we often think courage is like the great hero, the superhero that is courageous and fights the bad guys. Courage is actually the willingness to do the right thing, fight the good fight, tell the truth, live the truth, to basically do the right thing no matter the cost, even when you're afraid. Courage is the muscle that allows you to do what you know you need to or truly want to or must, even when you're afraid of the consequence. Hey there. And so it's something that we don't talk about a lot. And courage is something we need now more than ever. Courage is something that we need to build as a muscle if we want to grow and evolve ourselves all the time, but especially when we're facing tremendous challenges and obstacles. And I don't think, unless you've really been living under a rock or in a cabin out in the woods, that you don't see that we are in a time of great challenge. We are in a time of apocalypse, where that which is hidden is being revealed. The year 2020, right? Clear vision. It's not clear vision like, yay, it's clear vision like, oh, wow, I didn't realize what a mess we were in. I didn't realize how much fear was in me. I didn't realize how much anger was in me. I didn't realize how much judgment was in me. I didn't realize how much division and conflict was in me and was in the world and was in my neighbor. And that's what we're really discovering right now. When great challenge arises, great crises arise, they don't arise to break us. They don't arise to snap us in half. They don't arise to destroy us. They arise to show us where we're really living. Where are we really living? Inside, first and foremost. And then that reveals where we're really living, what's been hidden in the structures and systems of our life. And so we're in a time like that right now. And even when, what's important about this topic and this idea is that this is something I want to invite you to live and practice all the time. If you have been practicing courage, practicing answering your call, which is another way to say living your truth, really knowing who you are and what you stand for and why you're alive, and living that truth and that ethos as best as possible, your deepest values and highest vision. If you've been living, if you're one of those that have been endeavoring to live that, if you've been listening to me for a while, you probably are, because that's something that I'm always talking about. To be the change you want to see in the world, to be in integrity with who and what you really are, to say yes to your yes. That if you've been doing that, you have a little more muscle, a little more capacity during these times to hold your place in a more expanded space. If you haven't, and there's no judgment because that's why we're talking today, then it's more like brake pads are gone and it's metal to metal. There's no more space. Life is crowded in and there's worry, doubt, fear. The past is recapitulating in the present and it's reactivating old traumas, and then that's getting projected into the future, and it's doom and gloom. And again, there's no judgment. But what I want you to understand is the only way our life evolves, the only way more of who we are emerges, is not at all based on the outer conditions. It's not at all based on what your parents think or do, or your spouse thinks or does, or your kids think or do, or the government, or any of that. Our life evolves one way. When we are willing and we have the courage to say yes to our yes, to get in touch with the truth that is emerging in us, and have the courage to honor it, to follow it, to live it, to speak it. And when the truth emerges, it's important to understand this. Truth is not, it's a wonderful thing. It's the greatest thing there is because it's truth. But it's not like always a good thing, or a good feeling thing rather, right? As I like to say, truth will set you free, but at first it'll piss you off and scare the crap out of you and then destroy you. So truth, as it arises, it annihilates the old structures, right? And that's why Jesus said, if you try to save your life, you'll lose it. But if you're willing to lose your life for my sake, you'll have life eternal. He wasn't talking about for the man, Jesus. It was the Christ energy, the truth. If you're willing to lose your life for the highest ideal within you, the highest pattern within you, if you're willing to do that, that will continue to emerge. If the little baby seed, acorn, is willing to lose its life for the higher pattern within it, the oak tree, then a little baby oak sapling is born. And if that little baby oak sapling is willing to lose its life for the higher idea that's still in it, then the next level unfolds. And eventually it's a mighty oak tree that produces orchards of oaks. And that same process is happening within us all the time. And that's why during such a time as this, and really all the time, we don't want to be focused on saving ourselves or saving the world, but serving what's emerging. Having the courage to answer the call. Not to put it on hold, not to let it go to voicemail, where the universe gets the message, mailbox full. You ever wonder, like you call somebody and it's like mailbox full? It's like, really, dude? You don't even check your messages enough to have any space in your mailbox? Like, what's the point? And that's what's happened to a lot of us, is the call has come and come and come, and we don't answer it. Now, I want to say this doesn't just mean some big grandiose thing. I'm going to make millions of dollars. I'm going to save all the children. It means today a call will come. Today you'll have an opportunity to choose who you're going to serve today. God or fear, truth or the lies, the hypnotism. You're going to serve the highest good, or you're going to serve the lowest common denominator that makes you feel safe. Every day we have that opportunity. There's a conversation or two or three that you need to have with somebody to be in your truth, to share what you truly need, truly desire, or what's truly a problem for you. And you're putting it off. Oh, it's no big deal, or oh, I'll get to it later, or it'll resolve itself. And that is you putting your call on hold, letting your call go to voicemail, and you are rejecting you. You are denying yourself. You are abandoning yourself. And eventually that will manifest in your life as rejection and abandonment and destruction and breakdown. It's not because anybody else is doing it to us. It's because we've denied ourselves. We didn't have the courage because we were afraid. We were afraid to go for that dream. Because what if we fail? So we waited and we waited. And whatever's missing is what we're not giving. And whatever we're waiting for, we're weighing it down and holding it back. Life never holds anything back from us. We hold ourselves back from life. For life to come into its own as us, it must come through us and as us. There is no life that's going to come to you. It only can come through you as an activity of your own consciousness, your own heart. But it takes courage to answer the call. It takes courage to really have a deep understanding of ourselves. Who am I really? What am I really made of? Excuse me, what am I really made for? What do I truly desire? What are my deepest values and my greatest vision? That's understanding yourself. And only with understanding can you have a really solid inner standing, where you feel solid inside. You are congruent. You are in integrity because you have an understanding. And then that inner standing, now that decision, that commitment, that anchoring in who and what you are, your truth, now you can have a powerful outer standing. You can take a stand in your life. You can speak up and rise up and stand up and tell the truth and live the truth and be the light that you were meant to be. But if you don't have that understanding of who you are and what you're made of and made for, and therefore don't have an inner standing, meaning you're shaky on the inside, you're not going to be able to stand on the outside. You're going to wobble. You're not standing for anything, and so you'll ultimately fall for anything. Right? If you're not standing for something, you'll fall for anything. And you have to have the stand starts on the inside. Who am I? What am I made for? What am I made of? Your dream, your vision is not something you make up. It's something you're made of. The acorn doesn't make up the idea of an oak tree. It's made of the substance and the genetic coding and the pattern of an oak. You're made of something, and you're made for something. And it is for such a time as this that you came. If you're listening to this, you didn't come here to have a vacation. You didn't come to Earth during such a time as this to just kick back and watch Netflix and eat frozen pizza. You came because you have a purpose. You came because you have a quality, an idea, something to download and to bring the world, someone to be, to model for the world, for your children, for your lineage, your legacy, your family, your community. You came, your industry, because you were the answer to a prayer. Nothing appears in this world except as an answer. The chair you're sitting on, the camera that's filming this, all of this manifested as an answer to a need, as an answer to a prayer, as a part of the unfoldment of a divine idea, evolution. And that's why you're here. And if you answer the call, life can grow through you. Life can blossom. If you don't answer the call, you don't bloom. And what happens to things that don't bloom? What happens to a branch that doesn't bloom? It gets pruned. What did Jesus do to the fig tree that didn't produce any figs? Right? He cursed it and it died. A lot of Christians like to pass through that one. But if you don't bloom, you get pruned. As the Gospel of Thomas says, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. But if you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. Unexpressed life force, unexpressed creative ability and potential is not benign. It metastasizes. It turns in on itself. It devours itself. It creates stagnation. And that stagnation, which is the opposite of circulation, creates a swamp in your life. It creates a blockage of growth and unfoldment. Whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, relationally, or otherwise, if you're not letting life circulate through you, if you're not letting life fulfill itself as you, if you're not answering the call and being willing to take your place in life, in your family, in the world, as the leader and the light that you are meant to be, stagnation begins to occur. And that looks like anxiety, fear, depression, confusion, dis-ease, a breakdown of finances, opportunities, relationships, emotionally depressed. All of that is a signal. And if it becomes chronic, it's a signal that we're trying to survive in a world and a worldview and an identity that is too small for you now. That somewhere along the way you did say yes, and life's knocking at your door saying, let me in and let me out. And you're like, I will, but just not now. I will when I have the money. I will when I have the time. I will when I don't have to take a risk. I will when there's no risk that I'm going to be judged. I will when I'm absolutely certain I'm going to succeed. Then I'll get that support. Then I'll take that class. Then I'll work with that teacher. Then I'll develop my ability. Then I'll put my video on Facebook. Then I'll write that book. But right now, it's not the right time. Tomorrow, next year. The number one regret of the dying is that they didn't go for it. That they made all those excuses. I didn't have the time, the money, the support. I wasn't confident enough. I needed to get more of this or more of that, or I didn't trust it, or I didn't trust me, and now I'm going to die. And it's too late. It's the number one regret of the dying. Number one is what we didn't do. Number two is what we did do, but it's like light years away from number one. We think that what we're going to regret most is what we did that didn't go so well. But what we regret most is what we wanted to do and who we wanted to be, what we wanted to express, but we didn't do it. So it takes courage to answer the call. And now more than ever, if we're going to create a world that works, if we're going to survive and create a sustainable life and livelihood, there is no way to do that if you don't answer your call. Because life is having a radical paradigm shift. The world is having a radical paradigm shift. And those that answer the call will take their place in history, and those that don't will be relegated to the dustbin of history. And that may sound harsh, but that's just the fact. And it is during these times, I've been a student of history and the greatest thought leaders, change makers, and influencers. It is always during such a time as this that the next generation of change makers and influencers rises up. And if you're feeling the call and you want to figure out how to answer it, you want to discover, who am I really? What am I made for? What am I made of? What's my real purpose and mission? What am I here to be, do, create, and contribute? And how can I do that in a successful way, in a sustainable way? How can I make an impact and yes, an income? How can I make a living doing what I love, not just suffer and starve and walk around with a rice bowl? That's an old paradigm. That doesn't have to be the case. It's not an either or. Look at nature. Is the oak tree suffering by giving of its acorns? Of course not. It's abundant. All of its needs are met. And if you want to figure out how to crack that code, how to discover and uncover and develop your true life's work, not a life's work based on what internet experts say or what your parents think you should be or whatever, but that is in you, aching to emerge, that you were made for and that you were made of. If you want to discover what that is and you want to discover how to launch that into the world in a sustainable way, I invite you to join me on the training I'm doing. Just check out DerekRydall.com/influencer. That's DerekRydall.com/influencer. DerekRydall.com/influencer. INFLUENCER. DerekRydall.com/influencer. And I also invite you to join the free public Facebook group, Thought Leader Academy. Thought Leader Academy. And join over 1,000 people that are aspiring and professional thought leaders, change makers, and influencers that are coming together to create a movement of real change makers and real change. And to master these pieces and these principles of how to really make the difference we came for, and to live a way of life and a lifestyle that is abundant and beautiful, and all of our needs are met while we are serving the world. So go to Thought Leader Academy. It's free to be part of that. And if you want to be part of the training, the free training, go to DerekRydall.com/influencer. And it's just so great to see you all here. I really appreciate you. And if there's any burning question right now, I can't see all the questions. You'd have to post it again. Go ahead and post a question. and I can maybe answer a couple quick questions before we jump off here. Let's see here if I can. All right, I don't see any questions coming up, but it could just be my system is not showing them right now. But basically, again, go to DerekRydall.com/influencer. Go join the free Thought Leader Academy. And just remember, it takes courage to answer our call. It's not easy. It's scary. And that fear and that doubt and that worry is always going to be there when you're on the edge of your own unfoldment, when you're on the edge of your own map of reality and the edge of your own identity. You're going to have the signal of fear, because to the ego, real change is death. And the ego is just your old programming. and so your programming is the identity. And when you start to challenge that programming code, you start to bust out of that system software and open up to a new download. The signal to the ego, that's danger. And so it feels scary. There's doubt, there's worry, there's dreams of catastrophe, nightmares. But all that really means is life is trying to get through you. New life, real change, real transformation. Transformation to go above and beyond the current form. So don't wait for it to not be scary or hard. And also don't wait for the conditions to be right. If you wait to have the time, the money, the energy, the support, you'll wait forever. Because the next level of time, money, energy, and support comes out of you as you live into a vision that needs more time, money, energy, and support. You get it? It's like, oh, well, I want to do this thing, or I want to take this course, or I want to, build this retreat center, I want to write this book, but I don't have enough money. When I have the money, I'll do the thing. I'll live that life. Or when I have the time. No. You'll have the money, time, and everything when you commit to that life. When you invest your time, talent, and treasure in your yes, in your desire, which means of the sire, of the father, of the creative impulse, when you are willing to invest your whole life up to the highest vision, to the yes within you, rather than investing your life down to the lowest common denominator of fear, insecurity, and protection. When you're willing to do that, the energy flows where your attention goes. You open up the aperture of your awareness and consciousness and channels, and more life can flow through. And this is not theory, folks. This is what I teach. This is what I prove. This is how I built my whole life. This is how I went from zero to a multiple 7-figure business, touching hundreds of thousands of people with best-selling books and programs from nothing, from giving talks in my underwear to my cat. All right? And when my cat got bored, to my plants. And I started from nothing. No idea how to do any of this. Never had done any of this. But had a dream and a vision and a truth that I began to honor. And I began to live into and invest my time, talent, treasure up to. And then the next level would open up. And then I would have another challenge and another need to answer my call and have courage because I was afraid. And who am I? And I don't have the money, the time, whatever. And then I go for it, yes, and do the work, and then next level. So this is the way to have more life, or have more come into your life, is to let more life come out of you. And the way to do that is to have the courage to answer your call, to say yes to your yes. And if you want to be on the call with me, this free training, go to DerekRydall.com/influencer, and we will go much deeper down the rabbit hole in this, and I'll teach you how to make a living using your life story, how to discover the number one flaw that most thought leaders and change makers make that causes them to fail, that is prevalent in the industry today, and so much more. Just go to DerekRydall.com/influencer, sign up. The training is tomorrow. Thought Leader Academy Facebook group, join that for free. A lot of good stuff's coming down the pike there. And I just love and appreciate you all. And until next time, remember, live authentically, love unconditionally, and follow your destiny. Take care, everybody.